Yo, what is up guys, Staleboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So here in the UK, sometimes we are guilty of hyping up fighters before they are ready, or hyping up fighters who quite frankly just aren't good enough. Me myself on this channel, I kind of have garnered the reputation of being a quote-unquote hater of British fighters, because over the years I have been harsh when it comes to judging, British up-and-coming prospects, because I've seen the story so many times with fighters who are supposed to be the next big thing but ultimately fail. So I am very harsh on fighters from these shores when they're coming up. However, Moses Itauma really impresses me. The first thing, so I followed Moses Itauma since his pro debut, as most of you guys have who are hardcore boxing fans in the UK. He signed with Frank Warren at 18 years old as a heavyweight, and the talk was he was going to beat Mike Tyson's heavyweight record of being the youngest ever champion, etc. Big old sale pitch, a lot of hype, but I wasn't convinced. I saw his first few pro fights, saw there was a lot of physical and athletic ability there, very good hand speed, some sort of punching power, a good mover, decent foot speed, decent reactions, all the physical and athletic ability in the world, with, in my opinion, some technical ability. I actually quite like his feet for a heavyweight prospect. That's always one thing I look for. I do like his footwork. Not a lot of unnecessary bouncing or movement. He's very sharp in and out. He keeps good balance. He's usually set himself to punch. Decent footwork for a young prospect. But the main thing that really stood out to me early on from Moses Itauma was the composure. Not even so much composure, but the maturity. How he comes across. How he seems very dedicated to the game. Not getting too ahead of himself. Seems like he's got his head screwed on, and that's always one thing I look for when you see a prospect getting hyped up, because very often, these guys get way ahead of themselves and get a bit too confident, and it very often ends in disaster. Moses Itauma seems to have his head screwed on really well. Seems to be a very mature young man. Only 19 years old now. This weekend, of course, he fought Marius Wach. Marius Wach, of course, a guy who's been around for a long time, obviously way past his best, let's not beat around the bush. He's seen much better days, but even in his latter years, Marius Wach has always shown pretty good durability. He's been stopped a few times, but most of his stoppages have been, him getting stopped on his feet or by facial damage. The only time he was truly stopped and truly hurt was against Arslanbek Makhmudov, and that took him 6 rounds. Recently Fraser Clark went 10 with Marius Wach, and Moses Itauma knocked this guy out in 2 rounds, dropped him heavily. Really good body attack on Marius Wach. The hand speed was way too much. He overwhelmed Wach, and every single time he was getting close, it looked like Wach was really feeling the shots. It looked like he was really kind of taken aback by the speed, the combination punching, and the power of Itauma. I don't think Itauma's the biggest one hitter in the world, but when he puts his shots together, you're really going to feel it, and he puts his shots together really well. And he overwhelmed Marius Wach, he really did. Wach went down in the second round, hurt badly. Itauma caught him with a series of shots that culminated in a short right hook. Obviously, Moses Itauma is a southpaw. He dropped Marius Wach in round 2, really good sequence of punches. Marius Wach beats the count, but he's hurt. He backs up to the corner, and Itauma showed good finishing instincts to stop Marius Wach. Wach backed himself up into a corner, and you just saw Itauma kind of picking his shots, using both hands, changing the levels, maintaining his range, going from body to head, right hand, left hand, picking a variety of shots, and eventually Marius Wach was stopped on his feet. It was a bit of a mercy stoppage by the referee. And listen, again, I appreciate Marius Wach is 42, 43 years old. He's way past his best. But he's always shown pretty good durability to at least go for a few rounds. but he really couldn't cope in there. You know, the more I look at Itauma, the more I can't help but be impressed. Again, physically very impressive. How quickly he moves with good footwork. How fast his hands are. His hands are ridiculously fast when he puts his shots together. Dare I say, he may have the quickest hand speed in the heavyweight division right now. A lot of people back in the day liked to bang on about Andy Ruiz's hand speed. I think this guy may have quicker hands, to be honest. And what I like is the finishing instinct, the variety of punches, the accuracy, how he doesn't smother himself when he has a guy hurt, things like that. Things that are hard to teach, things that usually only come with experience. Itauma seems to be picking that up very quickly. He's very measured in his approach. Like I said, very composed, very mature. Again, I can't help but be impressed by this young man. The issue is, now the hype is starting to build a little bit. How do they move him? You know, there's still slight talks about him being the youngest heavyweight champion. I think that should be deaded. So Itauma is 19. He's 20 in December. Mike Tyson won the heavyweight title at, I believe, 20 years and 4 months old. If they're actually serious about him trying to become the youngest heavyweight champion, I think the only way he could really do it, like realistically, would be if Daniel Dubois beat Anthony Joshua. Because, of course, Frank Warren promotes Dubois. If Dubois beats Joshua, could we see that fight get made? It'll be interesting, right? It will certainly make a lot of news. It will certainly, I think, garner some sort of hype. I'd be very interested, I can't lie. The only issue is, I don't think Dubois beats Joshua, to be honest. But realistically, listen, they should start stepping Moses up at this stage. I don't think there's a rush. He's 19 years old. I don't think there's a rush. I do think they should take their time. I believe right now he is mandatory for the English title, which is held by Solomon Dakers. I think he goes through Solomon Dakers like a doorway. I'm not impressed by Solomon Dakers at all, despite his amateur pedigree. Not impressed. I think Itauma beats him very easily, to be honest. But, you know, maybe that is a fight they could look for next, potentially. And then I would say after that, sort of incrementally step him up, you know? So potentially get him in there with a guy like a Jermaine Franklin. And then following that, maybe an Otto Wallin. And should he win these fights comfortably, keep him active, keep him fighting on a regular basis. But yeah, I would still take a little bit of time with Moses Itauma, despite how good he looks. One thing I will say, when it comes to other heavyweight prospects right now, Jared Anderson, Richard Torres, Bakadir Jalalov, I would say that Moses Itauma is the only one that kind of fills me with any sort of excitement. Like, I can at least put some stock into him. Things can go wrong in the heavyweight division, right? We still don't know how good this guy's chin is, or how this guy copes in a hard 10 or 12 round fight. There's still a lot of question marks. But I feel like at this stage I've seen enough of Anderson and I've seen enough of Jalalov where I'm not convinced by them. I think they're very talented fighters, but I'm not convinced. Same goes for Richard Torres. I'm not convinced. Whereas with Itauma, to me his ceiling looks higher. And again, this is coming from somebody who judges UK prospects very harshly. I am on board with the hype train, I guess you could say. But yeah, share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Delboy, share me your thoughts on Moses Itauma. Peace out.